What's up, guys? Welcome back to the mini series of TASL pre-playoffs interviews we've got going on here. Today, I'm joined by Bran and Starburst. And yeah, how are you doing today, Bran? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me.
That's good to hear. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. So, of course, we've got you on, and you're playing for Starburst. The first thing, very quickly, Starburst. Are they an official team now? Because you've got your Twitter. Are you going to be playing like a lot more tournaments? Is this it started? It's a bit of a pickup thing. What's going on there?
Well, yeah, we finally settled in, I'd say, got all of our strategies down, want to become a full-time team for as long as we keep playing right now. That's how it looks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because in your most recent tournaments, you guys have had a lot of success. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, you've not actually played since you last beat FTWin in tournament. So your most recent result is you guys beating FTWin, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I believe that's true as well. We scrimmed a bit, of course, but that was our latest tournament.
And yeah, so how did you guys feel about that set then, as a team? Because of course that was I don't know how you felt going in, if you expect to take the win. I mean, you've always got that motivation as a team, but how much did you expect it? And did you expect it to be so dominant? It was a 5-2, which is pretty convincing victory over FTWin.
Yeah, it was definitely a mix-up from the usual against them, but we were always confident. We know what we can do, what we're capable of as a team, and I think that win definitely solidified our confidence as a whole. Because obviously, especially myself, not being able to beat FTWin for God only knows how long, it was really like a breakthrough for our entire team.
I mean, you've been playing kind of at that top level of NA for because you've been playing with Hanran, right, in Splatoon 1, way back.
Yeah.
And you would have been trying to, I guess, beat these players pretty much since they came up as FTWin in Splatoon 2. So it must have been very satisfying to finally get that victory.
Yeah, it's been such a long road, man. It
but
so good.
Yeah, I would I can only imagine, but I mean FTWin that day. However, I will just want to ask about this. So they were playing with Toon, and of course Shaq is now back. Shaq's back, and he's playing with them again. At least for the time being. People have said they're not sure if it's just for TASL or what. If you were to play against FTWin again, so let's say you have the rematch in the grand finals, how confident do you feel against the FTWin with Shaq that you would have to face?
I'd say just as equally as confident as with Toon, because at least in that set, they played a similar role because, Toon picked up the K shot with a passive playstyle like Shaq would usually when he's playing. So I think it would be pretty similar. I don't think they're much different players all in all. And, we played them forever. We know how they play. We can be ready for it.
Yeah, that's good to hear because, I mean, I feel like, everyone's always going to go, oh, they've got Shaq. They won with Shaq before, so they must win again. But if you're still feeling that you've got the confidence to take them down, that's definitely going to be exciting to hear. It would be nice to see you guys again. I really want to have an EU NA Grand Finals, but at the same time, I'd love to watch some sort of rematch. So it'll be interesting either way. But I mean, so apart from FTWin, your first opponents are going to be Rift, of course, the French team. What do you think about them? In all honesty, you can be as brutally honest as you want. What do you think of that team? How confident do you feel against them? How do you think that set's going to go?
I think they have a very standard playstyle, kind of similar to Freeze.
Yep.
And something like that, I think, is personally much easier for me to play against. I don't know for the rest of my teammates, but I would feel very confident against them. Freeze. FTWin's comp's a bit weirder, but I think we can definitely beat them.
Yeah. And do you think, they're going to be... How tough an opponent? Like, have you played against them? Do you know how tough an opponent they are,
Actually, I've only scrimmed against their team since they, I think, founded the whole Rift thing once, and that was with, picking up with Freeze. So I have not played with them on my team yet.
That's fair enough.
That's to be determined.
That's going to be exciting to see then, considering that you guys won't really know. It's very opposite to the FTWin Freeze, where everyone knows at this point, FTWin and Freeze have been massive scrim partners for different events where they're not playing each other. So they're finally being pitted against each other, in a tournament now. So I think that's a very, very big opposite on both sides of the bracket.
Yeah, that'll be a very good match to watch. I can't wait.
So you also mentioned briefly kind of the idea of standard compositions. Obviously, I don't think you guys run a completely standard composition at all. However, the one thing that you do have in common with everyone apart from FTWin is you have your charger player, right? Because, of course, Ice, I'd say, is flexing more than Zeros and Alexei, but pretty much every other team apart from FTWin is playing with that charger player right now. How do you feel like kind of playing against a charger-less comp versus a charger comp? Do you find it easier? Do you find it harder? Or, how do you guys feel against that?
Well, personally, I've always found playing against Charger a lot easier, especially if I'm playing like Machine, because, I'm stacking QR, I'm just running it like an idiot, trying to get as many kills as I can. Kind of like the Kyo style almost, because, he's always targeting the backline. So I definitely prefer that, but playing something like C-Jet is 20 times more annoying with the burst bomb, so I try to rush them. So yeah, definitely easier with just the standard charger and stuff like that.
That's fair. But I mean, apart from just the CJ, I mean, we've seen Biscuit play a couple more things. He pulled out, I think, the CJ and even Heavy a few times recently. But when they're kind of playing the FTWin standard, Nautilus, I guess right now it's like Nautilus Shot Machine Junior. Obviously, they have some variation, but that's, their standard. Against that composition, do you find that annoying to play against, hard to play against? Because I know personally, Mika being an NZAP player, he finds that horrible to play against, because the Nautilus machine can be really annoying for him. But what about you and your team? How do you find that kind of standard composition to, the standard FTWin composition?
Well, it's definitely gotten easier and easier, and playing more and more weapons has definitely helped me like get a breakthrough into their comp and style. I definitely like playing burst bomb weapons like Try, L3, but Rapid's pretty good as well actually because of the knot.
Yeah. But I mean, most recently, I believe you probably did switch up a bit. I think I couldn't catch the match because I was busy, but I saw like kind of bits of it. But in your FTWin match, I believe it was you and Jared mostly playing CDSL3 as the kind of the main frontline duo.
Yeah, I don't think we changed once actually.
Well,
I might have played Try one game, I'm not sure.
Without revealing too much, you can just say, no comment if you want to, be scrim strat hiders or whatever. But are you kind of still feeling really confident in that kind of front line? Because it's very different to every other team. You have, the other teams have like what, Shot L3, FTWin are running kind of, Shot Machine / Biscuit going in, and then Freeze are running Shot Machine. So it's all just kind of Shot and then something else. But you guys just go with have been with L3 CDS. Are you still feeling like that is, a strong choice? Is that a player preference thing, or do you think it's genuinely stronger than like Shot Machine?
I think it's just how I mesh with Jared for the most part. I think our two weapons sync up really well, and just having someone that's another front line that you can pair up with well, communicating well, is just such a huge advantage over other teams that don't have that. So I will say that I'll bring out another weapon or two against Rift, but
Okay.
yeah, definitely mainly the L3 CDS. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and I mean, that frontline duo has been very, very strong. I believe it was actually Mika that said, if he's looking at every other team apart from his own, in general Splatoon, not just TASL, he is most scared of you guys right now. I don't know if you watched the interview and heard that, but Mika is most scared of you and Jared right now. Do you think that makes sense, first off? Would you say that you'd be most scared of yourselves, or?
Yeah, I really don't. When I play this game, I go in with 100% confidence, and I don't look at who I'm playing against. So that is definitely true from my perspective. There's no way I'd be afraid of anyone but myself.
Yeah, I love that. I remember earlier on in the season, I think it was one of the teams, I'm not going to hard flame anyone, but one of the teams on Twitter was like, oh, we're playing Radiant today. We're probably going to lose, but I hope we do okay. I never like seeing that because it's like you always have to go in believing that you can win or it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing in this league to begin with, you have a chance at winning. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just say that.
That's exactly how I felt when I saw it. It upset me a lot. But I mean, so if we talk about other frontline duos, so apart from you guys, what frontline duo are you kind of like scared to go against the most? Or it doesn't have to be a duo if you're counting, Biscuit as FTWin. What's kind of the frontline that you're most scared to have to fight when you're playing with Jared and Starburst?
Honest answer, no one.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I like that a lot, actually. I didn't know if you had any particular ones, but if you have no fears, then that's good. So going over to the other side of the bracket with FTWin and Freeze, simple question to start things off. Who do you think's taking that match?
Dude, that's hard.
I know.
That takes some thinking. Because I remember I was streaming one other day before the Rift Radiance match, and I predicted that completely wrong. And then they didn't even end up making playoffs. I cannot believe that. So I want to say that FTWin wins, but Freeze, they're my boys. I have to go with Freeze.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I know what you mean. I'm not going to say my kind of predictions yet, but I would definitely say that predicting that side of the bracket for me has been a lot harder than predicting your side of the bracket. FTWin Freeze is going to be really interesting. But I mean, so you're expecting then to go against Freeze in the playoffs. How do you guys feel against Freeze then? Like, have you played them much? Are they kind of, for you, going to be... Obviously, you're confident about them, but, compared to the other teams, is there kind of a standout on their team that is going to be something you're going to be looking to play against? Like, I think, for example, it was Mika that said on FTWin, they're going to be looking to shut down Biscuit a lot of the time. Is there that player or style for you that you're going to be looking to shut down if you're going to be playing Freeze in the finals?
I don't really think so. They all, like Rift, they all play their very short range weapons, except Zera's, of course. So I think that obviously he would be the main issue just because he's a backline to begin with.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anyone particular. I think Zeros is their best player, but they're all extremely talented players. So he'd probably be the main priority if anything, but that's just how the game usually plays out anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Charger can just be kind of the main priority no matter what the player is, because if you let that get away with too many things, it can control the match completely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I lost completely train of thought because I had a question. It just slipped out of my head, but it's back. You're going into playoffs. I believe it's going to be fairly soon. It's looking to be, well, okay, I'm going to stop with this just in case it's going to be wrong and then speculation goes to this. But either way, playoffs are going to be happening at some point. How have you guys been preparing for this? Because I think it was Free said that they feel like they're not preparing as much as other teams, but they're still feeling confident. What's your preparation been like on Starburst?
Well, the last few weeks, so most of us have had finals and been busy, so our scrims have been definitely put off a bit. But we've been trying our best to get like maybe 3 or 4 in a week at this rate. But now I think everyone is done with finals and stuff now, so we're gonna be grinding a bit over the winter break for top 4.
Yeah, I can definitely see all the teams kind of going on a winter break grind, 100%. Oh my god, it went again. My line of thought is just not on it today.
It happens.
Man, okay, I'm gonna go with on something else because I've lost that and I'll see if it comes back later. Either way, I will. Sorry, it feels on the top of my tongue, so I want to go back to it, but no, I'll just move on. So, of course, Mika was really, really hyping you up. Not only that, but it was, I think someone said that, Kiver on his stream was saying that he thinks you're going to be like one of the biggest front lines, or like one of the scariest front lines kind of going forwards in Splatoon in general. Is this like a confidence booster for you, or does it not really affect you with your kind of, confident mentality anyway?
Well, I would say that since I've even started playing this game, like at least at a high level, I've always had like that inner ego whenever I play against other people just to boost my confidence. And I always thought that I was extremely underrated, but I'm not going to say, oh, I'm underrated on Twitter, of course, because why would you ever say that? But it's definitely nice to see the recognition finally come through that I've always thought I deserved. But without sounding too cocky when I say that, it's always appreciated, and I'm very thankful.
Yeah, I suppose, the cherry on the top of that kind of like upcoming hype would definitely be taking TASL, in your eyes, I guess.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking for, because the last time I won like a quote-unquote major tournament was like Smash and Splash 3 years ago. And I've gone second in like 6 tournaments in the last year and a half that are majors, so I'm looking for a dub, and I think with this team it can finally happen.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a really strong team on your hands. That was what I wanted to ask on the preparation, because I started thinking about your team again. This is the one final question I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Ant, he has been known not to like VC in this game ever. Is he finally VCing in preparation for TASL?
I'll tell you one thing. Whenever we play against a team that he thinks is worthy of his voice being used, he talks.
Oh, how often did he talk during TASL? Did he say against what teams?
Once.
He only spoke once in all of TASL.
You could probably assume which team that was against.
Oh yeah, I can. That's
It was Slaughterhouse. No,
that's actually really interesting. He decides if they're worthy or not. So I guess it'll be interesting to find out if he decides that thinks Rift is worthy enough for his voice in the semifinals.
Yeah, I think he will.
Okay.
There's no reason. Once we're in playoffs, he has to talk. I'm yelling at him if he doesn't.
That's fair enough. All right, well, I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to go through. So thanks very much for coming on today, Bran. And any closing thoughts before I kind of, send us off? Any shout-outs, any plugs?
Just shout out to my teammates because we're taking this fucking dub. But yeah, thanks for having me again, and it was a pleasure.
All right, that's good to hear. So again, thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to stay tuned to TASL, TASL_SPL on Twitter. And of course, you can find all the VODs if you've missed them out on this YouTube. We've previously interviewed Mika, and we will be interviewing all of the other playoffs teams later on in the future. So make sure to catch all of those. Make sure to catch the playoffs, because this is going to be a very, very exciting top 4. And I think it'll be one of the most exciting top 4s and, kind of majors we've seen in a long time. But yeah, goodbye, everyone. And see you, Bran. Thanks for coming on again.
Yep. See ya.